This video was made possible by the EA Creator Network. Hi everyone, and welcome back to a brand new speed build. Today I have a Scandinavian townhouse and a tattoo parlor for you guys, and I'm so excited to share this because I am in love with this build. This is my second build with the new expansion pack that we got, I think 2 weeks ago now. This is for business and hobbies, and I really wanted to build a tattoo parlor. I was talking about this last week's video, which is my first build with it, where I did another townhouse, and there was also a pottery studio and a cafe. I was talking about how I was really excited to make a tattoo parlor, and so I did. So yeah, for my second build with this pack, I decided to make this, and this is built in the other part of the world. So this is built in the part of the world that's called Ivestad, or Iversted, I think is how a lot of people are pronouncing it, but you know, as a Nordic person, I have to pronounce it the way it's supposed to. And this part of the world is more modern and a little bit more like industrial as well. It's like a mix between modern and industrial. And so when I built this, I knew I wanted to make kind of a quote-unquote classic Scandinavian home, in the way, like, not in classic as in, you know, old, as in when people think of a Scandinavian home, this is usually what they think of, because I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but when people are saying, like, if you Google Scandinavian architecture, or if you have ever watched anyone else do a speed build with Scandinavian architecture, it's always this type of house, and it's more modern, and I don't know if it's called anything else but like a Scandinavian architecture. Like, I don't know the actual technical name for it. And for the longest time, I've talked about this before, but for the longest time I never understood why it was called that, because I was like, in my mind, this is not Scandinavian. In my mind, a red house with white trimmings is a Scandinavian home. But the more I've actually like looked around in houses around me and, you know, places I go to, yeah, no, these houses definitely exist. If there been any houses like built in the last maybe, I don't know, 10 years, maybe 15 years, something like that, there will most of the time look something like this. And even in the area where I live, and I live in a very like rural part of Sweden, like farmland, like people that are building new houses there, or here, I guess, they're usually kind of this type of style. And I've talked about before as well how this is not really a personal favorite. Like, I don't mind how it looks, it's just I am very much more of a, like, I don't know, I like the older buildings, and I like the coziness, because this is quite modern, and modern for me is quite, I don't know, like scaled down, kind of clean, kind of minimalist, and we all know that that ain't me. If you've been here before, you know that. So it just feels a little weird to build stuff like this and seeing it around me, because again, I do see this kind of on the daily now. But it is, you know, it's a thing people like. I will never quite understand it, but it's fine. But anyways, so yeah, again, I decided to build this, and I kind of took inspiration from the buildings behind this. So you would kind of see some like orange buildings off in the distance, and they kind of have like two houses connected like this, and they're townhouses. So if you Google, again, like Scandinavian townhouses, you will see builds like this. And so the kind of like gray part of the build, like that, the bigger part of the build is the house itself, and that is for 2 parents, 1 teen, and 2 kids. So it's quite spacious. I don't know why I'm saying quite so much today. That's weird. I never say that word. Sorry about that. But it's very spacious. And then the kind of like white part and like the smaller part off to the right side is the tattoo parlor. So that has 2 levels, and I had so much fun with this build because, again, even though it's not a style that I maybe prefer, it's still fun to build in sometimes. And with the tattoo parlor, I had so much fun. So yeah, I really hope you guys like this. But so for the exterior, I also, like, another reason why I wanted to build this in this kind of style and stuff like that is because I wanted to use some of the objects that we got from this pack that I wasn't able to use in last week's video. Like, I want to show off as much as possible so you guys like kind of you know, see what it comes with and see what you can do with it. And so for this one, I really wanted, again, to use objects that I haven't used in my last build. So one of the first things you will see is I have used new windows, and I love these windows. They're very, like, simple, if that makes sense. All the windows except for the, like, at the top of the townhouse part, there's like 3 like skinny windows that are stacked like in the roof line. Those are from, I think, Get Famous, weirdly. But all the other windows used in this build are from this new pack. So we have this kind of like 2 tile wide one that has it. I don't know how to explain it, but to the left of like the window there is a little bit of a design, like it's just a line and another line, but it's a little bit of a design. And then we have this 1 tile window, which is not like floor length, but it is, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just very simple. It looks like just a regular open modern window with a line at the top, and I use those mainly throughout this entire build. And then on the tattoo parlor side, I wanted to use a few different ones. Like I wanted to kind of distinguish that, you know, it's a different house than the townhouse, if that makes any sense. So I end up using some of the other new windows that we have, and they are like smaller, so I stacked them. So we have this 1 tile wide one that I stacked with a 2 tile wide one, but they're kind of, again, they're short, so you can stack them. So yeah, I really like these new windows. Again, it's not something I'm going to use in like my regular builds probably, but I like that you're able to stack them and still make them look good, and that they're all kind of cohesive, because I love when we get like windows that you can use together in a build. So yeah, I'm probably going to use them in like modern builds, but I'm not going to be using them in my regular family homes and stuff like that, which is what I tend to build most of the time. But yeah, I still like them. And then I also use the new like small round window at the top of the kind of like roof line of the tattoo parlor as well. And I think I used that, never mind, I was gonna say I think I used that in last week's video. I might not have, I don't remember, but I really like that one. It's really small, but it's really handy, and that one I'm probably gonna use more because I love me a little round window that I can put in the roof line. It just makes so much sense to me. And then I also used 2 new doors from this new pack in this. The front door of the townhouse is not from this pack, it's from Growing Together, I believe. And I was trying like to find a door from this new pack that worked there, but none of them really fit, so I decided to use that one. And I think it's because I was talking about this in last week's video, but a lot of the new doors, obviously it makes sense, but a lot of the new doors are more for like a business, if that makes sense for me, because if you have a like front door into a house, I don't know, it's not gonna have 2 doors probably, like it's not gonna have, you know how like, okay, I don't know if that's gonna make any sense whatsoever when I'm gonna explain this, but you know when like you have a door like into a, like it's 1 door but it has 2 doors, if that makes sense, like you can open them each way. I don't know if this makes any sense. And for me, that is very like business-like and maybe like into an apartment building, but not like into a house. So yeah, I didn't use a new door from this pack to the townhouse, but into the what? What did I just say? Into the tattoo parlor, I used a new door, and it's kind of a really small and like short one. So the tattoo parlor ends up being on like quite a high platform, that's what it's called. But yeah, it's up being on a very high platform, and I think it looks good. It's kind of like a short wall height, because this build is built on the medium wall height on all levels except for that one. Actually no, never mind, I think it's just a bottom level that's, yeah, it's just a bottom level that's medium wall height, I think. Yes, I think so. But I also like that I had like the stairs up to the tattoo parlor. And then the other door from this new pack that I use is on the back, and that is from the like townhouse into their kind of, they have a little like backyard area, kind of, it's more like a patio. But yeah, there I end up using this new big kind of like industrial door that we have, and I love that so much. I don't know how much I'm going to be using it because it's quite industrial. I need to stop using the word quite. this is driving me crazy. But it's very industrial, and I don't build a lot of like industrial builds, but I really liked using it here, and it looks beautiful, so I was just happy that I was able to use it. But yeah, other than that, for the exterior, there's not too much from this new pack, actually. That's not true. I used a new roof trim. Really random. The roof itself is from the, what's called Eco Lifestyle, because I like the texture on it. It's like this honeycomb pattern, and so I really like it. So the roof itself is not from this new pack, but the roof trim is. And then also on the townhouse side, the like wood wallpaper, like wood paneling, that is from this new pack, and I use it in this gray swatch, and for me it's very modern. I don't know about you guys, but for me it's very modern. And on the tattoo parlor side, I used kind of like a brick that is from, I don't know. I have no clue. I want to say Discover University, but that's probably not true. I don't actually remember. I'm so sorry, but it's from a different pack. That's all I know. And then I also use a new chimney, which is really weird, but I did that because we have a new chimney. I think we have 2 new chimneys. And I didn't use a chimney in last week's video, so I used that for this. This build was kind of like I wanted to use as many objects as possible that I didn't use in last week's video. So yeah, I used that. And then I used kind of like debug items. Like we have some debug plants that I use. We have some bikes that I talked about in last week's video. We have some bulletins and stuff like that. We have some signs. I just used a bunch of stuff. And specifically for the tattoo parlor, I used a bunch of the new signs because as last week, I was building like a cafe and a pottery studio, and obviously we've had cafes before, so we have a lot of signs for cafes already in the game, but for the pottery studio and for this tattoo parlor, we haven't had this before, right? So there's not a lot of signs kind of showing that. So for this one, I used mostly a new, like 2 new wall decorations that we have that has kind of like a tattoo gun on it. So yeah, I basically just used that for the exterior. And then I just used like a bunch of like kind of, again, more debug items to make it look like this building fit into the world. I don't really know if I have anything else to say about the exterior. I don't know. I really want to move on and talk about the tattoo parlor because I'm so excited about that. I also put a lot of like graffiti on the walls, just like on the exterior, just to, I don't know, make it look a little bit interesting, I guess. I don't know. And yeah, I just used some plans as well. Again, we have actually from this new pack, we have quite a few different plans. I need to stop using the word quite. I'm so sorry. Someone is gonna bug now that I pointed it out. Someone's gonna be bugged about every time I use it, so they're probably gonna count it, and I'm so sorry. But we have a few new plants from this new pack, and one that we have is this like long skinny kind of like planter box that has some plants on it. So I used that on the exterior, like at the entrance of the tattoo parlor. And then I also just put some chairs there because I felt like, I don't know, maybe while you're having a tattoo, you want to go out, and obviously you can't smoke in The Sims 4, but maybe you want to go out and just take some fresh air and stuff like that, because getting a tattoo can be can be painful for some people. So maybe you just want to have some fresh air and stuff like that. So I just put that there. But moving on to talk about the tattoo parlor, which I am so excited about. I mentioned this last week, but if you didn't know, I love tattoos. I have quite a lot. I have 8 or 9 now, I think, which might not seem as a lot, but I've only been able to get tattoos for about 2 years. And trust me, I am getting more even this year. Like, I love tattoos. And I don't have those like small dainty ones. I thought when I started getting tattooed, right, or not when I started, but like before I started, I always thought that I was gonna be that person who had like the small, like very like trendy, like small tattoos that you can barely see, but like you still have them. Turns out I'm not that girl, and I now have like quite big ones. I need to stop using the word quite. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I have a few like actual big ones. So my arms are kind of covered. Like you can definitely see I have them. I have one on my leg and stuff like that. So I've been to a few different tattoo parlors, and all of them have had very different styles. The first one I went to was kind of like a classic one. They literally was playing like metal music as I came in. And yeah, it was in a apartment building. Like it was an apartment building, but like that floor that they were on was not an apartment. Obviously it was like a business. I was gonna say business lot. It was like a business place, you know. So it didn't look like an apartment, but it was in an apartment building. And then the second tattoo studio I went to was female owned, and they kind of specialized in those more like dainty tattoos. I didn't get those from them, but the entire place was very much like, I don't know, it was trendy. It was small, but it was trendy, and it was like light and airy and felt very like feminine. And I loved it there. I think that's probably still my favorite tattoo studio that I've been to, because it was so just like welcoming, but at the same time like very modern and airy, and I don't know, I really liked it. And they had like plants everywhere, and it was very trendy. And then the third tattoo studio I went to, it was a big, like, it was in an industrial building, and they had an entire floor, but it was just one big room. Obviously they had some bathrooms, but otherwise it was just one big room, and they had like 12 tattoo beds because there were so many tattoo artists working there. It was a very big tattoo studio, but they had like 12 tattoo beds, and there was like a mix between like industrial and modern, and I really liked it, and I kind of want to recreate it in Sims because I feel like it would look really good. But it was a fun place to be at as well. It was very open and very large and very industrial, but I really liked it. But it was also, again, it was a big established tattoo studio, so it was very nice, but it was, again, like just very big. And then the final tattoo studio that I've been to was in England, and it's probably the one I'm going to be going to from now on, just because I really liked it and I liked the people working there. But that's also kind of more like a classic tattoo studio. And by the way, I've gone like, most of the time when I get tattoos, I get 2 at a time. So that's why I have more tattoos than I've been to tattoo studios, because I've also like revisited like artists and stuff. But so when I was building this tattoo studio, I had a lot of inspiration. I had a lot of things that I was like, oh, I can like pull inspiration from all the places that I've been, because again, I love tattoos. So when I was building this, I kind of went for a mix of them all in a way. I used a lot of black in there, but it's still very light, and the wallpaper is this kind of like distressed brick kind of wallpaper, and I wanted to showcase as much art in there as possible, because a lot of tattoo studios will do that. Like, they will have kind of like drawings that they have done of like tattoos they want to do, or they will have just like sketches on the walls and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to reflect that in this tattoo studio. So we don't have too many things that I was like, oh, this wall decoration or this painting would look like a tattoo. So I reused some of them. But I think it's fine. But so for the bottom floor, there's the reception area, and then there's one tattoo bed, and there's also a bathroom, because a bathroom is quite vital to have in a tattoo studio. And then on the upstairs, there's 2 more tattoo beds, because you can have 3 employees. We can have 3 employees, including you. You can also hire tattoo artists, I realized, as I was doing this. So I think maybe you're able to have more tattoo artists at once, but 2 of them you have like hired, and are employees of yours, and the other ones are just like hired ones, I think, maybe, I don't know. And so I wanted it to feel, I don't know, it's very modern at the same time, because I don't know how to describe the vibe of this. But if I had to, I would say maybe like industrial combined with modern, maybe. And it's also very trendy, I feel like. So the bottom portion of the tattoo studio kind of set the pattern for the other 2 tattoo like beds areas, because they all kind of look the same, because you have to have the same things, right? So I put in a tattoo bed, obviously, that looks like a massage table, not gonna lie, but it is a tattoo bed. And then we have 2 new items that are supposed to go in tattoo studios. One is this small little like cart that looks like there has some like drawers open and stuff like that, so I put that in like all the tattoo areas as well, and I cluttered them up with a debug tattoo gun, also some like ink, and some other just like, I was gonna say ointments, but that sounds horrible. But like when you're getting tattooed, you need like petroleum jelly and stuff like that. So I just put that, and I also put a like tongue scraper, which is really weird. That is from the debug it's a debug item from the debug menu, from Get to Work, because like you have it in the hospital, but it's you don't use it for the tongue obviously when you're doing tattoos here. You usually use it to kind of like spread the petroleum jelly. I think that at least is what they're using. I'm like 90% sure of it. And so I just put that there, and I also put I think like maybe an iPad and stuff like that, because all the tattoo artists I've been to, they usually like sketch their like the signs on a iPad because it's just easier than doing it by hand. So I put iPads in all the stations as well, and I just put like some other things there as well. And then we have this like bigger kind of drawer set. I don't know, it's very, very boxy, and it's called like something tattoo-ish, so it's supposed to go in tattoo studio, so all the stations have that as well. And on that I just put more kind of like accessories that you need. So we have this big clutter item that also has it's a big clutter item that has like a bunch of different stuff on it. It has a tattoo gun, it has some ink as well and stuff like that. It's just big, and I was gonna say it's too big to fit on the small chest of drawers, but like it could fit, but I didn't want it there, so I wanted it on the bigger one. And then I also put some like paper towels and stuff like that, and some, what's called, just some regular towels, but I was thinking they're probably like folded up paper towels. And I put some like tattoo books and stuff like that there as well, just because you need that stuff when you're getting tattooed. I don't know if any of you guys have been tattooed, but I can assure you that they've used like paper towels to kind of like wipe it down, or to like wipe the ink away, and you know, stuff like that. And we also have this item that is supposed to be for babies, but it's a clutter item. Sorry, I hit my mic, that probably cut weird, but I think this item, I think it's from Base Game, and it's supposed to be for babies because it's supposed to be like things you use when you change nappies or diapers or whatever they're called. But they kind of, again, look like folded up towels and just like some cream and stuff like that, so I think it just worked. So yeah, I know it's a little weird, but I think it worked out. And again, on the walls I put like a bunch of different just artwork and stuff like that. On the welcoming desk in there, which the welcoming desk actually doesn't serve a purpose because you do everything through the like I don't know, the standing iPad thingy. I don't know what it's called. It's basically how you manage your business, but you do everything through that, so technically you don't need the welcoming desk, but I felt like it just looked good. But on that I moved some drawings from the artist kit. I don't remember what it's called, it's artist something kit, but I put some drawings from that kit on that. Like I used the tool mod and I kind of flipped it and I made it so it looks like they're on the counter, so maybe it's like, here are tattoos we offer. And the same with like all the wall art, I was thinking that maybe like it's tattoos they offer and stuff like that. And on the second floor I used some more like paintings, and I was able to use this painting that I'm so happy I was able to use, but it's from the Lovestruck EP, and it's this like lady that has like a snake, and it has some like LED lights around it, and I just felt like it fitted the vibe. So I put that in there as well. And then also on the second floor I put this new statue that we have, and it looks like an old statue that you will see from like ancient Greece, you know, in like maybe Roman times, I don't know. But it looks like a statue from that time, but it has tattoos on it. And I find that freaking hilarious because I have seen something like this in real life. When I went to the tattoo studio that was like very industrial and was like big and had like so many tattoo beds and stuff like that, that tattoo studio, like as you were walking up to their floor, they had a bust that also like looked like a statue, right? It was like I don't know, just a bust of a woman, and it had tattoos on it as well. So I was like, oh my god, did the Sims team know about this? Is this a thing? I don't know, but I really liked it, and I have a picture of it that I love that picture so much. But yeah, I saw it and I was like, I have to have this in this build. So I did it, and I'm really happy with it. Overall, the tattoo studio I'm really happy with because for me it feels really realistic, and when I was playtesting it I didn't have any problems at all. When I was playtesting this build I had issue in the kitchen, so I had to just like move the clutter an inch. You won't really notice it in the screenshots. And then I don't know if I had any other issue. I didn't really have any other issues, but yeah, I didn't have any issues in the tattoo parlor at all when I was playtesting this, which is great because that means that like the way I was doing it worked. Because I was a little bit scared because I was like, I don't know how much the items will interfere with the tattoo bed, but it ended up being fine. And yeah, I really like it. If you have been to a tattoo studio before, let me know what you think of this one. Obviously, there are so many different types of tattoo studios, and I still really want to do like more of like an old school one, and also one of those like more like trendy, more like feminine ones. If that makes any sense. I don't know if you get what I mean, but I don't know. But I really like this tattoo studio, and I am super, super happy with it. And I really like the the wall decorations I was able to find. I found this like koi fish that I've never seen before, but that looked really good because I felt like that's something that someone would get tattooed. So I put that on the wall, and I just did some other things as well. And yeah, the other items I put around are like items that I was thinking are in tattoo studio. There's also a bunch of different seating areas in there because I don't know, maybe like people bring other people for the tattoos. I don't know, like when I went to get my tattoos last time, I got two at the same time and I loved them so much. And that was in the one in England, and my boyfriend went with me, and he was just sitting there like watching me get tattooed and like just talking to us. And yeah, so I was just thinking that maybe like bring someone along, and yeah, and also like if someone gets there early, they might have to sit and wait until the tattoo is done, you know? And then also at all the tattoo stations, you will have seen that I put this like roll chair, this rolling chair. I don't know what a roll chair is, but there's this like rolling chair, and it's from the Get to Work expansion pack, I think. And I was just using that because tattoo artists, every single time, they don't stand in tattoo. Their backs would die. And they also don't sit on like a gaming chair or something like that. They usually sit on those types of chairs, at least the like studios that I've been to. They almost always sit on those types of chairs because they can move around really easily using that. So yeah, that's also like a small item that I put in there that I was like, this makes sense for me. So yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to say about the tattoo parlor. I don't know. But again, let me know what you guys think. I also put some new dividers actually from this EP. I was gonna put another divider that we got, and you might have seen me pull it out, but it just didn't fit the vibe. So instead I used these other new dividers, and I just put some like new fairy lights that we have as well on at the top of it to kind of just, I don't know, make it look better. And on the top floor I put mirrors on them as well, because you need a lot of mirrors in the tattoo studio. Because even if you get a tattoo on your arm, which you can like visibly see, it is very nice to like look at it in the mirror to kind of see like, oh, this is how other people are gonna see it. And sometimes you get tattoos in places that you can't see. Like your back, the back of your legs, the back of your arm, like maybe your ribs and stuff like that. You can't physically see them, so you have to use a mirror for it. So that's also why I used a mirror there, or like a lot of different mirrors in that place. But yeah, again, let me know what you think of it. But moving on and talking about the house portion of this, I was debating for a long time if I should make this into a family home or not, because I feel like if you're starting a business with this new EP and you want to play around with it, maybe you don't want to have like a huge family to take care of, but at the same time, maybe some of you do. So here you are. I mean, you can still live in this without the children, and maybe as you play, you get children, and then you can like still use this house, if that makes sense. But yeah, so as you walk into the townhouse, you walk directly into the kitchen. But I tried to make it look like they had a little bit of like a hallway area at first where like you put your shoes and your coats and stuff like that, where I use a new sofa that we have, like a love seat, and I also use that in the tattoo parlor, and it's this beautiful, like, I don't know, it has a lot of like exposed wood and I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't look too comfortable, but I really like it. Some of the swatches have like a blanket thrown over it, and some of them are like more leather-like and stuff like that. It does match the swatches of like the new ottoman that we have, the bar stools. We have a little other like small stool that we have, the other love seat that we got. Like it matches the swatches of all of those. But I used that in both the tattoo parlor and the entrance of the like main house because I just really like it, and I wasn't able to use it in my last build again, so I wanted to use it. And then the kitchen ends up being very simple. It's, you know, a kitchen. The counters are from the Home Chef Hustle stuff pack, and I really like those counters because, again, they're quite modern and I really like them. And then I use a big round table in the middle to kind of, I don't know, it's a dining table is where you eat, but usually I would put an island, but I feel like this family would have a huge dining table instead of an island, because I wasn't sure if I could fit a dining table somewhere else. So that's kind of how it worked out, but I really like it. The dining table it's from a kit. I need to remember what kit. It's one of the newer kits that we have now. I think it's it's from the kit that was like kind of retro chic kit. That's not what it's called. I don't know. I'll pop up the name on the screen. It's probably already been popped up, but that kit. And I love that table so much because it's so simple. And I love me a simple table. And the chairs are also from that kit. And then in both the tattoo parlor and in the main house, I put stairs with like an open bottom, which I don't normally do that, but I also wanted to use new stairs that we got from this expansion pack. And we have 2 new staircases. They're the same, but one option has this like black trim at the bottom of it on the left side, and the other option has it on the right side. So I used one option in the townhouse and the other option in the tattoo parlor. And in the tattoo parlor, under that staircase, I kind of just made a little seating area. You would have seen me do it, and I just put some shelves there with some clutter and stuff like that. And then in the in the townhouse, the second floor, it just has stairs under it because there are 2 staircases and they're stacked on top of each other, so I didn't have to do anything under the stairs there. But on the first floor, there's the kitchen, and it's like in the kitchen, so I just put a bookcase there from the Snow Escape expansion pack, and it just fits so perfectly. And then I just put a chair with some other clutter. And then there is a huge open archway, which it's not an archway that we have in the game. I just made it. I put some I put a what's it called? Not a railing, what's it called? A spandrel. I put a spandrel, and it's from the Snow Escape expansion pack. And I also just put some Snow Escape what's it called, columns on the sides as well to kind of like make it look like an archway. I really like how thick the spandrel was, so that's why I did that. And it also just feels more open. And then you go into the living room, and it's from the living room that you then go out to like the patio area. And in the living room, I didn't really know what to do because it's kind of an odd shape, but in the end I wanted to use the new fireplace that we got because in last week's video I was talking about how we have 2 new fireplaces, and I used one of them in last week's build, and it's this like round one. It's beautiful. I gushed about it for about 10 minutes, I think. In last week's video, but for this one I want to use the other fireplace, which is a little bit more modern. It's very boxy, but it's still small, and I ended up putting it on an angle, which looks a little weird, but like it's fine. And then I wanted to fill the rest of like that wall space with some like side tables and then put the TV above that. So I used some side tables from Spa Day, I think, and they just look like marbled side tables, and they look really good. It kind of boxy, but again, I think it fits the vibe. I just put a TV above that and then clutter that up, and then I use 2 of the same couches. They're from the Paranormal stuff pack, and I just used those. And then I have this weird backspace, like at the back of the couches I have this weird space, and I didn't know what to do with it, so I ended up putting the new piano that we got as well from this new EP, and just some armchairs and a bookcase, so you can just read there if you want. Also, I feel like this is a good place to apologize for this voiceover. I feel like 1, I'm talking very fast, 2, I'm stumbling over my words a lot, and 3, I'm not making any sense. I'm tired, and I I shouldn't be recording this right now, but I really want to get this video out for you guys, so I'm doing it. I'm recording this probably like an hour or two before this actually goes up, so sorry about that. But yes, I apologize for that. To be fair, if you're still here, I feel like you've already like kind of accepted it. But anyways, moving on to the upstairs portion of the townhouse. The first room that I do up there is the teens room, because the second floor has the teens room and the kids room, and then the third floor has the parents room and an office space. So we do the teens room first, and I think this might be one of my favorite teens rooms that I've ever done. Like, genuinely, I love this teens room so much, and I had a few ideas about this teen for once. So I was thinking that this teen is obviously just a teen, like, they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do, and they're gonna be interested in a lot of different things, but that they really want to follow their parents' footsteps and become a tattoo artist. Now, I don't know if both of the parents are tattoo artists or if it's just one, but one of them owns the tattoo parlors, at least is how I was thinking. And so I wasn't sure, like, if it's one or both, but this teen wants to follow at least one of their parents, and become a tattoo artist. So I put some like tattoo, I don't know, clutter items on the desk, because I create this L desk using the comfy gamer kit desk that we got, which I love making an L desk from them, or from those two, or from that desk. It looks so good. And I have this like, I was thinking that it has like two areas, because at home, obviously I live in a dorm now, but at home at my parents, I have an L desk, and I always had like my computer area, like one part of the L, if that makes sense, is like where I had my PC, and it's where I spend most of my time. And then the other part, when I was younger, was like where I would draw and like be creative in some way like that. And then like the past few years, it's been kind of where I do my makeup and stuff like that. But so I was thinking that this teen has kind of divided it up similarly. So they have, again, they're kind of like computer area. I was thinking that they're really into games and stuff like that as well. So they just have their gaming area. And then they have like the other part of the L desk is kind of where maybe they practice tattooing and stuff like that. So again, I just put some tattoo clutter that we got from this EP, and I put a drawing tablet there, because again, I was thinking that they're probably like practicing their drawings on that and stuff like that. And I just put some other books and stuff. And then above the desk, I use some more things from the Comfy Gamer kit. I was using a lot of Comfy Gamer in this, which thank you, Lil Simsy, so much for that kit. It is amazing. But I just put some shelves there, and then I kind of framed that like, we had like a metal plate from that kit, and which you like put shelves on. And I kind of framed those two metal plates with some of the fairy lights that we got from this EP, which I love that we can do that now that we have like one vertical and one horizontal, and it's so handy, and I love the Sims team for doing this for us. And then the rest of the room is very simple. It has a double bed, and I kind of cluttered up the headboard, because this bed, it is from the High School Years expansion pack, and it has kind of like what looks like a shelf. Like the headboard is so thick, and it ends so abruptly that it looks like a shelf. So I always clutter that up, and then I just put some posters and stuff like that beside it. And then I also used a new dresser from this EP, and then I also use a new floor length mirror that we have as well. So again, I tried to use things from this new pack, but not like things that didn't fit, so these things fit in, so I use them, if that makes sense. And then I also just put a bookcase and an art easel, because if you are a tattoo artist, you're quite creative. Like, tattoo artists are amazing at drawing, so I was thinking maybe they're into painting as well. But yeah, I just love that teens room so much. I think it's so cute, it's so cluttered, and I feel like it's very realistic, at least in my opinion. Like, I think I've seen rooms like these so many times, and yeah, I just really like it. And I also put some like messy clutter on the floor and stuff like that to just make it more realistic. And then the kids room is for two kids, so it's a shared room, and I was thinking that maybe they're twins, maybe they're not, I don't know, but they're at least like close in age. They might be Irish twins, which if you didn't know, that's when you're born within a year of each other. I think it actually might be like a year and a half or something like that, but I think they're called Irish twins because my boyfriend is one, so I know I've looked it up before. He's the older one, and then his little brother was born within a year after him, so they're Irish twins, which I find so fun, because me and my brother, we're not like that. We have an 8-year difference, so for me it's so fascinating when people have like close age siblings, because that's not something I am used to. Again, 8 years between me and my brother, but yeah, and I'm the younger one, if you couldn't tell. But anyways, I was thinking that they're very close in age, those two kids, so they don't mind sharing a room, but I kind of divided it up so it ends up being like a teal part of the room and a pink part of the room, and I really like it. I was thinking that they share the desk and the drawing table and the dresser, so they still share things, but they have also at the same time kind of their own space, and I use this beautiful divider from the high school year special pack, I think, and it has some like fairy lights on it, it has some pictures on it, it looks so good. I genuinely forget that we have dividers in this game because I never use dividers in my builds. In this build, to be fair, I used it both in Tattoo Parlor and in the kids' room, but normally I don't use them. So I had so much fun using it in this build because I was like, oh my god, I get to use it. But yeah, so the kids' room, again, it's very just kid oriented, but it's pink and teal, and the one bathroom that you will see me do ends up being their bathroom. It's not connected to the room, but it's right outside their room, so I was like, this is the bathroom they're gonna use. So in there I use the Parenthood shower that has a teal and pink kind of like base and shower curtain, so it just fit in there. So all the bathrooms in this house do not look like that, but they are toned down versions of them, if that makes sense. So yeah, and there also ends up being another bathroom right outside the teen's room, so I was thinking that that teen has their own room or their own bathroom as well. And then moving on upstairs, again, I was said that they have an office up there, and it's the parents' bedroom. The office, very simple. There also ends up being 2 bathrooms, and one of the bathrooms, I was gonna say the second bathroom, you won't see me do them, so it doesn't matter, but one of the bathrooms ends up being very big, so it has like it doesn't have the shower tub combo, it just has a shower and a tub, what? And a tub separately. So yeah, it just ends up being a very big bathroom. And then again, the office, very simple, not really anything special. And then the parents' bedroom, if you're wondering why it took me no time at all to make that parents' bedroom, it's because I'd already done it once. Because I did it, and then I was like, oh, I'm finally done with the build. I went to end my recording. I hadn't recorded it. Thankfully, it was only the parents' bedroom that I hadn't recorded, so I just had to redo it. But because I just done it, I already knew what items I was going to use, so I didn't have to like choose between items and like make a whole thing of it. Like, it was just very quick, so that's why it takes like 0 seconds for me to make that room. But yeah, so that's basically like the townhouse. If you want to download this build, it will be up on my gallery. My gallery ID is a Simsa04. If you're wondering how that's spelled, it's always like linked and spelled in the description box, so if you want to, you can download it there. In my last video, I got a few questions about that, but yeah, it's always in the description box if you want to download it. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. I don't know, I'm looking over at my little post-it that I have about things I wanted to talk about, and I think I've talked about everything. I think so. Actually, no, there was one thing really random, but in the tattoo parlor, I put this sign on the door that has some like eyes that are closed, and there's a different like swatch of that where it's like a door and it has like an X and stuff like that, and I put it there as like an open and close sign, and that's what it's supposed to be. But I didn't realize until I was playtesting this that it changes depending on if the business is open or closed. And I wasn't expecting that. Like, I just think that's such a cute little detail. So the version that I put has some, again, like the eyes are closed and it's red. And when the like the store is open, I don't know if the eyes are still closed or not, but it goes green. So yeah, I just thought that was a really cute detail, and I'm definitely going to be using that now more, that I know that. So if you didn't know that, now you know. But yeah, I had no idea. I love when Sims team does stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think there was anything else. I don't think so. So now we move on to your rambles. I got a comment, I think it was like last week or something like that, on a video I did a while ago, that was like, it's really nice to hear about your personal life, but I want to hear more about the build as well. Like, some of us are trying to learn, which is very fair, and I've talked about this before, how if you're like, if this is the first time on your channel, hi, this is what I'm like. I don't normally speak that much about the build as I've done in the past 2 videos, and that's literally just because of this new pack, but I'm gonna try to make an effort to actually speak more and more about the build and about items I use and stuff like that. But my videos will never be like 100% build. It will always be me rambling, because this is an outlet for me, and I also get a lot of comments. I get more comments that say that they love my rambling than people saying that they don't love my rambling. Maybe that's because if they don't like my rambling, they're just not here. That might also be an option. But I also know that some people do. Like, personally, I love watching speed builds with rambles. I've talked about before how I literally grew up on Lil Simsy, and we all know from that time period about Susan and the rambles and everything, and I grew up on that, and I love that. So for me, I prefer the rambles, but I get that some people actually want to, learn The Sims and, like, watch this for the build or whatever. So I'm gonna try to start speaking about the build again. But yeah, also, that wasn't like, I don't want to make it sound like that comment was a mean comment. It was a very nice, like, it was very nicely formulated, because they were still like, hey, I love this, but like, can you it was like criticism, if that makes sense, but like constructive criticism, which I always accept. Like, don't leave hate comments, please, ever. I don't think I've ever gotten one, but don't leave hate comments. But if you have anything you want me to change or do or talk about or stuff like that, just let me know and I will do it, because I've said it before and I'll say it again, like, yes, this is my channel, but it's also for you guys. So yeah, if you have anything, sorry, I just hit my mic. I'm so sorry, that was probably really loud. I'm so sorry. I talk a lot with my hands. But if you have anything, just ask or tell me in the comments. And if you don't want to comment, you can always DM me and just be like, hey, I am too shy to say this in the comments, but I would like this or this and stuff like that. So you're always welcome to do that. Like, I'm very open to that type of stuff. But yeah, anyways, saying that, ramble time. So I hope you guys are well. Hope you had a good week. I was gonna say I'm well. I'm not. I've been ill all week. I've literally been at home all week. I haven't gone to college a single day because I was sick, and I don't know if it was because I was sick or because of allergy season or a combination of the two, but I've been staying all week, and this is gonna sound really weird, but some of you are gonna know exactly what I mean. But all week it's been feeling like my brain is too big for my head, and that is not me saying I have a huge ego or like I'm really smart. Like, no, I mean physically it's been feeling like my brain is trying to escape my head. Like, and I think that's more like a fever thing, so maybe that's why. But yeah, I've just not had a great week, not gonna lie. But I'm starting to feel good again. I'm gonna be going to college tomorrow, and do stuff, so that's good, at least, because I hate just I get so bored. Like, don't get me wrong, I love like playing games and like being on my PC, but my body hurts, because I also wasn't able to go to the gym, so my body just hurts from like not doing anything. My back is killing me. And then also I think it was on Thursday, no, it was on Wednesday, yeah, on Wednesday I woke up kind of early, weirdly. Like, I know I was gonna be sick, like I know I was gonna be home, but I still woke up at like 7. So I was on my PC and I was doing work on my save file, and for my save file I have a document, it was a document, it's a Google Sheets spread thingy about like things, it's a bunch of stuff, but I was working on my save file and I was typing in that document, and all of a sudden my PC was going crazy, and I was like, oh god, is my PC broken? Like, what's going on? But then I realized that it wasn't my PC, it was my keyboard, because my keyboard was registering that like the 2 last rows on my keyboard was pressed down. I didn't touch it. It was just permanently pressed down. So it kept typing randomly in the document and pausing and unpausing my music, and it was like kept like marking everything, because obviously it's like from shift and control in those 2 rows like down. It was just it was crazy, and I couldn't do anything, and I was like, oh shit, like my keyboard is broken, because my set button had been acting up. So I knew it was my keyboard, and like I knew it was on its last breath. So I had to go into the city and get an emergency keyboard that I literally bought for I think like $10 or something like that. So it was very cheap, and I was like, this is gonna do until I can get my new keyboard. And so I ordered a new one, and it got here on Friday. It got here really quickly, and I am in love with it. I posted a picture and a video on on Twitter if you want to go see it, but it is so pretty. It's purple, and it's so pretty, and it has a little screen, and so I have a gif of Piplup dancing, because if you didn't know, Piplup is my favorite Pokemon ever. I know it's a weird one to have as a favorite, but he's in my heart always and forever. Like, I love Piplup so much. I have a little Piplup dancing, and it is so nice, and it sounds so good. It's the RK Royal Clutch S98, I believe, if anyone knows what that is, but it looks so good. It sounds so good. So yeah, that's basically been my week. The highlight of my week was my new keyboard. Although it's not a Nordic one, so I have to get used to that. I have, like, in my Windows settings, I have it as like Swedish keyboard, but I can't, it's not marked out where things are, and it's a different layout, and it's weird. So I'm getting used to that, but that's been my week. If any of you have had a keyboard that is not in, you know, how you're used to it, you will know what I mean. But anyways, that's basically it for this video, and I really hope you liked it, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and of course subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!